Hey guys, it's Bob. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about as far as getting my maximum CBOL. That's the cartridge base to ogive length. So what we're going to be using is this Hornady OAL gauge, overall length. This is going to be used with a comparator that attaches to your calipers. Here's the comparator, and all it is a piece at a fixed length with this adapter that you can put in the end, and that adapter touches the ogive of the bullet, which is where it would be touching the lands, and that's a better dimension for you to base your cartridge lengths off of than just the overall length because of tip inconsistencies during manufacturing of these bullets. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on my calipers, and like I said, it just goes on with a set screw, so it's super easy to put on. And that's it. That's what this is going to look like. It literally just goes on one of the claws of the caliper, so you make sure you zero it out. However, I just noticed I have the 270 comparator on, which is not going to be consistent. So I'm going to put the 30 caliber comparator on. That too is held on by a set screw. There we go. Zero that bad boy out. And I'm good to measure after I get this into the gun. So this is my measuring 200 grain bullet. I'm going to keep that set aside. There's going to be a difference, I believe, between these two bullets. This one that I'm going to be measuring is the 165 grain SST versus the 200 grain ELDX from Hornady. So I'll save that so that I can keep consistent readings for OALs based off of that particular bullet, and I'll do the same with this one. Okay guys, I have my 300 short mag here. A couple things to do before I get started. Take the bolt out, because we're going to be pushing a bullet into the chamber. We're going to thread on Hornady's modified case. This is a 300 short mag modified case, and what that is just de-primed, cleaned up, standard semi-spec 300 short mag casing, and they thread the end of it so that it fits onto the threaded portion here of the OAL gauge. Screw that on real quick. And you can see it here. That's all it is. It just threads onto it bottoms out on this gauge. And we're going to take our bullet, push it down into the case. I want to make sure that it can feed through smoothly through the neck of this case, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and sink it back down inside the case a little bit, temporarily set my set screw on my gauge. And then literally all we're going to be doing is taking this cartridge and pushing it through the chamber all the way to the end. Zoom in here a little bit so you guys can see. There we go. So what I'm doing is pushing this gauge all the way through, and you'll feel it reach a hard stop, and that's the neck of the case touching. And then we're going to loosen that set screw just a tad, I'm going to push this inner rod just until I start to feel resistance. Right there feels like it. And I'm going to lock it down. Give it a little jiggle. Pull it out. And this, folks, right here is now, since that plunger is locked, this is the maximum depth for my CBOL that I can put this in. So you can take the bullet out, but it doesn't matter because the plunger is already locked in place. So if it falls out, that's okay, no big deal. Just make sure your plunger stays locked and drop that in there. And now you have your maximum length for this particular rifle with this particular case and this particular bullet. Alright, so now that I've still got this locked in place, all I have to do, make sure I've got 0 on my calipers, open her up, and measure. What I'm getting right now is 2.251. If you see, on the back side of this gauge there's an indentation where you can put this claw in, and that's kind of to counteract the offset that you get on this end of your comparator for your set screw, because there's a little gap. I don't know if you can see it in that caliper. There's a little bit of a gap between where you put your set screw in and that actual claw of the caliper. So 2.251 is what I'm getting. Alright guys, so now that I've done that the first time and got my base reading, I'm going to take a couple more measurements just to make sure that I'm staying and getting the same measurement time and time again. Probably give myself a couple of thousandths. Once I have 2 or 3 consecutive readings within a couple thousandths of each other, I'll be confident that I have just touched the lands, the rifling of this particular barrel, and I will have this rifle's maximum CBOL for the 165 grain Hornady.